Hi. We're going to start out in a comfortable seated position on our mats. So you can come to sitting on your heels or sitting cross-legged, or you can even sit up on a cushion or a bolster or a block. You just want to make sure that you are sitting up and you're not rounding over and sitting onto your spine. So sitting nice and tall and bringing your hands to your knees or to the tops of your thighs and letting your eyes close. And just taking a moment to settle in here and to notice your breath. Breathing in and feeling the expansion of your rib basket, and exhaling, noticing the contraction. Breathing in and noticing the subtle shift in your shape with each inhalation and with each exhalation. With your hands still resting on tops of your thighs, breathe in as if you're trying to breathe into your thighs. Breathing in to feel your hands rise and soften. And we'll let our hands come to rest on either side of our rib cage. One hand on each, letting the thumb wrap around and back and the four fingers around the front. And breathe here, just noticing what happens when you bring the attention to breathing in to your rib basket. And then letting your left hand come to the low belly and bring the right hand to your heart space. Just pausing here, again to notice the subtle movement behind your hands as you inhale and as you exhale. Inhale to expand and exhale, condensing. And we'll let our hands fall to the mat beside us. And on an inhale, we'll extend the arms up and overhead, bringing the palms together in a kiss above our heads. And then exhale, twisting to the right, letting the right hand come behind you. Left hand comes to the outer right thigh. Inhale to lift, and exhale to soften into the twist. On an inhale, we'll bring our arms back up overhead, letting the palms come together, and exhale, twisting to the left. Right hand comes to the outside of the left knee. Left hand comes behind you, gaze is over the shoulder. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale to soften into the twist. On an inhale, we'll bring the arms back up to the center, palms come to the middle, and exhale, hands to heart center, pressing the palms together at the midline. Inhale one more time, bringing the arms up overhead, and with the right hand taking a hold of the left wrist, and inhale to lift, and exhale to soften over to the right side, feeling that length along the left side body. And inhale to come back up to center. And then taking a hold of the right wrist with the left hand. Inhale to lengthen and exhale, softening over, feeling length along the right side body. And inhale to come back to center, palms extend up, and then exhale, bringing the hands down to the mat. And then we'll turn to find tabletop pose. Taking a moment to really set your foundation, letting your hands come to below your shoulders, letting the knees be about the same distance apart as your hands, tucking the back toes, and on an inhale, pressing through your full palm to find length in the arm bones and length in your shoulders, and the head will round down. And we'll move into some cat-cows. Inhale, we'll let the gaze lift, elbows soften, tail rises. And then exhale, pressing through the hands, finding that length along the shoulders, opening up the shoulder blades. And then inhale, softening, letting the belly drop down, tail rises, gaze lifts. One more time, pressing through the hands to find that lift along the upper back body, tail softens down. And then softening into the elbows, gaze rises, heart shines forward, tail lifts. And then letting it go, returning to a neutral spine, letting the toes extend out long behind you once again. We're going to bring our knees together and let the hips fall to the right side, as far down as you'd like them to go. And then pressing through the palms, we'll come back to center. And then let the hips drop to the left side. Press through the palms to rise back to center. And one more time to the right. Right hips drop down. Inhale, pressing through that palm to rise back to center. And exhale, softening down, left hip towards the floor. Pressing through the palms to rise back up. Letting the knees open back up. Tucking the back toes and pressing through the palms to find downward facing dog. Taking a moment here to pedal it out through the legs, pressing through the width of both palms. Can you find that full length between the back of your shoulder blades and your fingertips? Drawing the outer arms in, rotating them in, letting the heart shine out through the back body, and letting the tail be light, as if a bird has tied a string to your tailbone and is wanting to fly away with it. Then we'll let the knees lower back down, let the toes extend out, and we'll settle in to Balasana, child's pose, bringing the forehead to the mat, letting the knees be wide to accommodate the belly as we expand into our breath. And maybe the arms come out long behind you. And the shoulders soften into the mat. Breathing here. Softening in the hip creases. Being held. And we'll let our hands come back to the mat under our shoulders. And we'll press ourselves to come up onto our heels, letting our hands walk up onto our thighs. And on an inhale, we'll rise all the way up to come to celebration pose. Hands overhead, palms touch. And then exhale, hands come to the mat, returning to our tabletop pose. And we'll tuck our back toes again. And on an inhale, we'll let the left arm stretch out long before us, and the right leg will stretch out long behind us. On an inhale, lift the back leg, reaching through the fingers, reaching through the back heel, and pressing through the right hand to find that lift and that length in our arm bones. And then exhale, release. Pausing here to notice the difference in the two sides. And then on an inhale, we'll take the right arm out in front of us. Left leg will extend out long. And inhale, reaching through the back heel and reaching through the front fingers. We'll let that back leg lift, pressing through the left palm, finding that lift, finding that length. And exhale, release. We'll bring our toes together, let the knees open up wide, and then settle the hips back to find child's pose, Balasana. Arms come out long behind you, forehead to the mat. Softening into the hip creases and taking in breath here. From here, we'll bring our hands back to the mat under our shoulders. And we'll press ourselves up again onto our heels to a seated position. And on an inhale, we'll rise up again to find celebration. Palms come to kiss over our heads. And then exhale, release, hands to the mat, finding our tabletop pose. And once more, we'll let the left arm come out long in front of us. Right leg extends out behind us. And then pressing through the right hand to find our lift, lifting that back leg. Bending through the right knee. Reach the left arm behind you and let the left hand take a hold of that right foot. And then press the foot into your hand to find lift and openness. Breathe and exhale, release, coming back to all fours. Pause here, just noticing a difference in the two sides. And then once again, we'll let the right arm come out in front of us. Left leg extends out long, and on an inhale, we'll lift, finding that length, pressing through the left hand, and then bending through the left knee, reaching back with the right hand, taking hold of the foot and pressing the foot into the palm of the hand, pressing the left hand into the mat, lifting and opening. And exhale, release, hands to the mat, knees to the mat, tucking the back toes and pressing up and back, downward facing dog. Taking a moment here to pedal it out through the legs. Letting the tail be light, letting the arms round in so that the heart can shine forward through the shoulder blades. And bringing the gaze between the hands on an inhale, step or hop to come to find a forward fold at the top of your mat. Letting the weight come in to the fronts of your feet, letting your head be heavy, so it can fully release the top of the spine. Maybe taking a little sway here, feeling in to the versatility of your spine. On an inhale, we'll halfway lift, bringing the hands to shins, heart shines forward, gaze lifts. And exhale, softening down, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, rooting through the feet, we'll root down to rise all the way up, finding our full length, palms overhead, palms come to touch, and exhale, bringing the hands to heart center. One more time, inhale, arms will rise all the way up and overhead, and exhale, hinging at the hips, swan dive forward, bringing the hands to the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step the right foot back, then the left foot back, and press back to find downward facing dog. On an inhale, let the right leg rise up long behind you. And then bring your gaze forward and step the right foot forward between the hands. Lower the left knee down and let the toes extend long. Then bring your hands onto your knee or your thigh and walk yourself up to a low lunge. Arms rise up overhead, palms come together, and exhale, softening in to the hip creases. Inhale to reach through the fingers. Exhale to soften. Inhale to come up, bringing the hands to frame the foot, tucking the back toes, lifting the back knee, and then stepping back to find plank. From here, you can lower your knees or just lower all the way down onto your belly. And on an inhale, we'll come up to a low cobra, peeling the shoulders back, sternum forward, and exhale, release. Tucking the toes, pressing through the palms, rising back up to find downward facing dog, and we'll move to the other side. So on an inhale, left leg rises, And letting your gaze come between your hands, step the left foot between the hands, lower the right knee down, extend the right toes behind you, and then bring your hands onto the knee and thigh of your left leg. And on an inhale, arms rise up overhead, palms come to touch. Exhale, softening into the hip creases. Inhale to reach through the fingers. Exhale to soften. Inhale to come up. Exhale to bring the hands back to the mat, tucking the back toes, lifting the back knee, and stepping back to find the top of your plank. Lowering all the way down onto your belly. Inhale, lifting for cobra, sternum out, shoulders back, and exhale, release. Tucking the back toes, pressing through the palms. We'll meet up again in downward facing dog. Softening here in the knees, maybe pedaling it out one at a time. Then bring the gaze between the hands, bend into both knees, and on an inhale, step or hop to come back to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up, hands come up overhead, palms meet. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, let the arms rise up and overhead. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. From here, we'll step the left foot back and then pivot to face the long side of the mat to find a wide leg forward fold, prasarita. Bringing both hands just below the shoulders. And from here, we'll bring our hands onto our hips, turn the toes out, and then begin to press ourselves up by rolling up one vertebra at a time. Coming up, the head will come up last, shoulders roll back, and inhale, bringing the arms up overhead, knees straighten, and exhale, softening into a goddess posture. Inhale to press, to rise, hands come together. Exhale, opening up, goddess pose. One more time, pressing through the heels, extending the legs, extending the arms, hands come up overhead. Exhale, opening up, find your goddess. Bringing the hands to the knees. And an inhale, pressing into the knees to lift. And an exhale, softening into the left shoulder, bringing it towards the right knee. Inhale to return to center. Exhale, pressing into the right knee, lowering the right shoulder down to the left knee. Inhale to come back to center. One more time each side. Left shoulder drops towards the right knee. Inhale to rise. Exhale, pressing into that right knee, right shoulder lowers. And inhale to come back to center. And then bringing the hands to the mat. We'll heel toe our feet closer together till they're about shoulder distance apart. And then bending into the knees, dropping the hips down, we'll come to find our squat, bringing the hands to heart center. And breathing here. From here, we'll let our hands come back to the mat. We'll lower our seat all the way down, and we'll turn to face the short side of our mat. Bringing the hands to just behind the knees and lifting them up and finding Navasana, boat pose. Letting the hands come out long alongside the legs. Breathing here. On an inhale, we'll open up, opening into a tippy canoe. Exhale, bringing our boat back together. Inhale, opening up to a canoe. Exhale, bringing it back together. And one more time, opening up, finding our canoe. Exhale, coming back up to center, bringing our knees into our chest, bringing our forehead down to our knees, making ourselves into a tiny ball. And then once more, opening up into Navasana, grabbing hold of the backs of your knees, and then lowering yourself onto your back. From here, we'll take our knees and draw them into our chest, giving them a big squeeze. And taking hold of our knees with our right hand, letting the left arm extend out long beside us, we'll draw the knees over the right side body for a supine twist. Letting the gaze come out long towards the left fingers. Letting the shoulders soften into the earth. And then inhale, bringing it back to center. Hugging your knees in close. Then we'll let the right arm extend out long. Take a hold of the knees with the left arm and hand and draw the knees over the left side body for a supine twist on the other side. Gaze extends out over the fingers of your right hand. And inhale, coming back to center, squeezing your knees in close, drawing the head in close. And coming back, opening up, taking hold of the outsides of your feet for happy baby. If your feet aren't available to you, you could always grab your ankles or your knees or the backs of your thighs. Opening up and rolling out here, massaging the low back. And then as you're ready, making a tight ball one more time, knees to forehead, and then extending out long, finding your full length, fingertips to toe tips. How long can you be? And we'll let our arms come to lay beside us, heading in to our final resting pose, Shavasana, where we'll be here for a few minutes. Begin to deepen your breath. Maybe bringing your hand to your low belly and the other hand to your heart. And And just noticing the subtle shifting shape of you. Then as you're ready, you roll to one side. And just pause here to be held, cradled by your arm. And we'll press ourselves up to come to find a seated position on our mats. Letting our hands return to our knees or the tops of our thighs. Noticing breath. Noticing as your body rises to fill the spaces of your hands and falls away. If your eyes have been closed, you can let them open and hold a soft gaze in front of you. On an inhale, we'll bring our arms up and overhead, letting our palms come together above our heads, and then drawing that down into a prayer in front of our heart space. And we'll close today's practice in gratitude and in love. Thank you.